Do, 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 do.
Hey, welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie,
And I'm Kelly.
and welcome back to Strange Town. I almost said welcome back to Stranger Danger.
Oddities. Stay strange.
I that too. Um,
I
as
guess if
per,
you're new here, we are.
yeah. So hi and welcome. We, as per usual, have all of our information in le description. It is. I don't even know if that's how you say description in French, but it is now. We have our social media. We have our email. We just, as you know, dropped a listeners episode. Would love to start collecting stories again and maybe fit in at least one more listeners episode this year. Maybe
It
two.
would be phenomenal.
A dream. And we also have links to our merch shop full of really cool designs, including some by Lindsay Bidwell. Thank you, Lindsay, for those cool designs. And also your sister in law, correct?
Yes, my sister-in-law, which her designs go by Manna Peach, and her stuff is linked down below too.
Cool. And we also have a link to our Patreon. Please, if you can, support our show. If this could be a full time gig, I would be a happy person for once.
Me too.
Oh, how much fun would that be? And we could do more for you guys. But
We could
alas,
tour.
we
We
could
can come visit you guys.
we could tour, we could do staying in haunted places overnight. We could do all kinds of crazy shit. So
We can vlog. We can
we
do
could
fun
vlog,
shit.
we could dance. Not really. But that's what you've got. That's everything right there in the description. And shout out to Kyle Head Music for our really cool new intro. We love to see it.
That I listened to so many times this
It's
week
it's a bop.
because it brings me joy.
Yeah, it's a certified bop. Catchy as hell. Thank you, chef.
Yes, chef, thank you.
Um, how's my bestie?
I'm good. I miss my bed. We talked about that this week.
Yes, Kelly's at her parents' house for well actually 2 weeks.
Yes,
1 week
I am
down.
helping some family out.
Yes.
Um, Speaking of chefs, I think
Yes.
we've talked about this. My husband and I have been playing a game. It's called Plate Up. I don't even know if I'm still saying that right. He makes fun of me when I say it wrong. And
How do you say it wrong? It's
dyslexia.
Oh, I mean fair. Fair. Okay. Right.
Um, but it's funny because it is like a little less chaotic than the
Then
other
overcooked.
game than Overcooked.
Overcooked is
But
a
at the same
disaster.
time, when you get into your routine, you dissociate and it becomes therapeutic.
I love that.
And like at a point, one is cooking and the other one is serving, and you start going, "Thank you, chef. Thank you, chef." Thank you, chef," over and over and over again.
I want to try playing it.
It is very nice and relaxing.
What is it on? Is it on the Switch or what is it?
We play it on the Steam Deck. I
Oh,
don't
wow, okay.
know, but it is very nice.
I love that. Yes, chef. Thank you, chef.
Yes, chef. I wear a
Oh.
tiara. Michael wears a wizard hat.
Wow, so you guys are just the belle of the ball. I love that for
We
you.
really are.
I think we're gonna so after date night tonight, I think we're gonna play some Stardew Valley. We haven't played that in ages. Honestly, that game's not even that great, but like we love it.
Hmm.
You like farm and shit, but then there's also like these little ghosts running around. Also, I'm trying to get this guy in town to marry me, so I keep bringing him pasta.
I love that for you. I love that the Italian brings pasta.
Oh, listen, we know what men want. It's pasta. So I'm just bringing that shit until his ass says yes.
Yep.
And there you have it. He's kind of an idiot, though. I should have picked somebody else, but we're too far gone at this point for me to start new. So
It is what it
my
is.
character is
You've committed.
100% settling. 100% settling.
What can you
What are
say?
you going to do?
You know it, and it's fine.
Yeah, at least we own that. So, um, well, that all sounds grand. Uh, As for me, on my side of the equation, I am continuously just staring into the abyss that is work, and that's it.
I think I received two text messages this week that said that.
Yep, that's it. That's the daily task. Is just, contemplate the next 40 or so years of my life of doing this shit. Which is why we need this to take off in a big way.
Do it.
Make it happen, people. So, um, other than that, I'm trying to think if there's any other updates from my side of the equation. I think, well, so today is date day. I talked about this on the bonus episode. It's my turn to plan the date. I had a great date planned. I found a botanical garden near us. We were going to go try a new restaurant near it, and now it's raining all day. So we're not doing that.
Rude.
We're doing an escape room instead. We're going to try to escape. Apparently, we're going to be stuck on an island. Hopefully, there's nobody else in there with us because I get really pissy when I have to play with strangers.
I kind of hope that you don't have to deal with real sand.
Oh God, I really hope not.
You're gonna have to update me on that. I'm gonna be curious all day.
Big time. I will let you know. It's not happening until tonight, so you're going to be on the edge of your seat.
That's
Oh,
still 4 hours ahead of me, so
that's right. So it's going to be it'll be 1:30 p.m. your time when we enter, 2:30 p.m. when we exit. So we'll see. It is the toughest one they have, so Godspeed to us. And then we're getting Mediterranean food after at this new restaurant. I'm gonna get some shish kebabs.
sounds yummy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some kebabs. So I'm looking forward to that shit. What's on the docket for you today?
We are gonna go see great grandma,
Yay!
and Michael is coming down to meet us there.
Yay!
And well, then we'll be there for a few hours. We always spend a few hours there, and we are likely going to be doing a lot of home improvements at her house.
Oh, are we in DIY mode?
Well, like not so much DIY. Like we just try to do like, oh, the batteries need changing in this.
Oh,
The
okay.
yard needs some help on over there. Like we just do whatever we can to help when we're there. You know,
That's cool. That's very nice.
yeah. Um, so we'll probably spend a few hours there, and then we will likely go get dinner and hang out here for a few hours, and then Michael will head home to the babies, the fur
The
ones,
puppers.
the puppers and the kitties. It's really funny. Michael has gotten very into animal nutrition
Oh, okay.
in the last few weeks, um, which is adorable in so many ways because I've already been there.
Yes.
He has just caught up, and so he's taken over all of that. But he now knows how aggressive our animals are when they're hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just hilarious to me.
I love that. The company that I work for now makes an ingredient that's used in a lot of dog foods for joint health. And it is like the most clinically researched joint health supplement on the market.
That is interesting.
A little fun fact for you today.
Hook a sister up. Anyway,
Dude, I can't even get some for myself because they make it for humans too. And I'm like, shit, I'll start taking that
jeez.
shit. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay,
Come
fine.
on. Come on, losers. So,
In other news, this is random that I thought I'd share. Found out yesterday that the county my parents live in, there is a strep outbreak.
I didn't even know that they really kept track of like strep like that.
Yep. So Levi's homeschool teacher, virtual homeschool teacher,
Yeah.
Monday was out and it turns out she had strep throat. Then come to find out, one of my parents' employees' daughters also has strep throat.
Oh,
And then comes to find out yesterday, a friend of mine who was also a bridesmaid, like shares on her stories. So I have strep throat, and I was informed that there is a strep throat outbreak,
there you have it.
and
Wow.
I was like, oh, didn't know that
Aces.
could happen.
Strep sucks. I hate strep.
My alarm was going off.
Oh, time to wake up.
No, actually, that's just time to feed the dogs at that point.
Oh, time to feed the dogs.
Because I know how aggressive they get.
That's right. Well, Michael's gonna learn. So, wow, keep your hands clean.
Forget that. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You know, and that has multiple benefits. One, people are the worst. Two,
Yep.
the strep thing. Three, people are the worst. You know, I think it's just, people are the worst overall. So might as well not talk to anyone. We love to see it.
I
Plus,
was just
you're
like, wow. One, I didn't know they tracked that. Two, I guess I didn't actually realize how contagious strep throat was.
yeah,
I genuinely, I was like, wow,
I didn't. Yeah.
you learn something new every day. Holy shit.
Strep blows. Last time I had strep, I think I peaked at like 104 fever. I was fucking
Yeah, no
sick.
thanks.
I was not good. So, um, wow.
Funny
Okay, well,
story
yeah.
about strep throat, actually. I had my tonsils removed at 16. There's I have no tonsils. They're gone.
Bye.
At some point while we were married, early in our marriage, I had a horrific sore throat. Like molten lava was being swallowed.
Yep.
So I was like, I think I've got strep throat. I go to the urgent care on base. Right there, that's the
Right
problem.
there. That's it right
Right?
there.
Because
Yep.
base medical. The doctor goes to look at my throat and he's like, you can't have strep throat. You don't have tonsils.
Okay, first of all,
And
literally
I
not
look
how it
at,
works.
yep, I look at this doctor and I go, you mean I can't have tonsillitis? I don't have tonsils. I can still have strep throat. I'm the medical professional. I'm the one who went to med school. It's like, you didn't go to med school. You're not a doctor. You are a nurse practitioner.
Dude, I that's incredible. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But when I had it, I think I actually did have a nurse practitioner who looked at me. She looked at my throat and she's like, "That looks like hamburger meat. You have strep." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "I'm gonna swab you, but I already know you have it."
See, that was a good nurse practitioner.
We love
This
to
guy
see
was
it.
like,
Yep.
fine, I'm going to swab you, but it's going to be negative and it's going to be a waste of your time.
Came back positive. Yep. Brilliant. Brilliant.
And it was the most aggressive swab possible, like that fucker.
He fucking lanced your ass. Yeah.
But I was right.
But you were right. And that tastes better. So, whatever. Um God, I'm really not surprised though. I'm not surprised because base medical is like,
The worst.
what are we doing? Yeah, so um well, on that happy note, I think we have a fun, funky, fresh episode today, do we not?
I think so. I'm talking about a lake monster again.
I'm talking about actually mine's rather lengthy. So,
You should go
you
first.
want me to start this shit? I'm
I'm
talking about
excited
the
about yours because I realized you have done a mini series
I have without even really trying. Today, if you'll remember 2 episodes back, it kind of ties into it.
and
I'm
kind
covering
of
the
last episode.
Yeah, a little bit last episode too. I'm covering the Men in Black. This is from honorary cousin
Guess who's
Michael.
back, back,
Thank you.
back? The
Hell
Men in
yeah.
Black.
Thank you, honorary cousin Michael. The Men in Black movies are great, by the way. I love those movies. But that was before I decidedly stopped liking Will Smith, but the movies are great. You know,
You can't not like the movies.
I like the movies. So, you know what I don't like though? I don't like in the first one the guy that sits there and just eats sugar. Weirds me the fuck out. I fucking hate that part. So,
Aliens.
aliens. All right. So the Men in Black. In in popular culture and UFO Conspiracy theories. The Men in Black are these supposed government agents dressed in, you guessed it, black suits, who basically question, interrogate, sometimes threaten, allegedly memory wipe, sometimes even assassinate UFO witnesses in order to keep them basically quiet about whatever it is they've witnessed and seen and whatever. The term also can be used to describe these mysterious men working for unknown organizations, also just like various branches of government allegedly tasked with protecting secrets. It's kind of like a blanket term, but if for the case of us, we're going with aliens, of course, because that's my bread and my butter. So, there, there's one folklorist. This is just an interesting fact that I came across. There's one folklorist who compares accounts of Men in Black with tales of people encountering Lucifer and speculates that they can be considered a kind of psychological trauma, which I thought was so weird. I don't follow like the connection there, but I was like, I have to at least mention this because this is some banana shit. So anyway, let's talk about ufology.
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 I would take that course.
I would be in that in a second. I would become a ufologist. So, Men in Black, of course, feature most prominently in ufology, UFO folklore, and then, of course, also you have like the fan fiction arm of things too. But in the 50s and 60s, ufologists kind of adopted this conspiratorial mindset and started fearing that they would be subject to organized intimidation in retaliation of discovering the truth of UFOs. It is possible that the story of the Men in Black um, can be traced back to actually one day in particular that just predates the 50s. It's June 27th, 1947, and it's quite possible that the whole story of the Men in Black starts with a man, a boy, and a dog on a boat. I'm on a boat, and so as the story goes, Harold Dahl was on this like conservation mission in the Puget Sound near the eastern shore of Washington's Maury Island, and he was gathering logs. And he saw 6 donut-shaped obstacles hovering like half a mile above his boat. Before long, one of these donut-shaped things fell about 1,500 feet, followed by raining like metallic debris, some of which hit his son, Charles, on his arm, as well as the family dog, who actually didn't survive the ordeal. So that's sad. Pour one out for the family pup. But Dahl was able to take some pictures of the aircraft on his camera, and he later showed it to his supervisor, Fred Chrisman. Chrisman was skeptical, and so he goes back to the scene to take a look for himself, and he saw a strange aircraft with his own eyes. The next morning, so the story goes, Dahl is visited by a man in a black suit, and they end up at a local diner, and the man was able to recount in extraordinary detail what Dahl had just experienced. And it goes, quote, "What I have said to you is proof that I know a great deal more about this experience of yours than you will want to believe," this man in black says to this guy. And this is according to a book called They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers. So Dahl, after that, was apparently, he was told not to speak of the incident. And if he did, bad things would happen, XYZ. So the supposed events of Maury Island have continued to fuel conspiracy theories, to this day, even though a U.S. government investigation deemed it a hoax after Dahl and Crimson later admitted as much. In particular, not Crimson, Chrisman. In particular, the mention of the man in the black suit would evolve into a key obsession for UFO enthusiasts and spread into American pop culture thanks to comic book series and, of course, the blockbuster movie trilogy. In all of their different incarnations, the Men in Black usually have basically one purpose: muzzle the witnesses of strange, like paranormal phenomena, particularly in the realm of UFOs. They always wear black suits and hats with dark sunglasses. They drive black cars. They arrive in groups of 2 or 3. Some describe them as one would like an FBI agent. Others Recall that the Men in Black themselves have very strange appearances, with supernatural features like glowing eyes or like very strange complexions. And so, how did we get from Harold Dahl to like Will Smith? Like, how do we make
Yeah.
that whole journey? So, the transformation of the story from from a first press report to basically a folkloric tale to a comic book, now to a film, kind of illustrates how the myth is transformed over time. The process is not unlike the children's game of telephone, basically, in which you have like innovation by misinterpretation. So, sticking with the sort of like telephone analogy, the first call was made to Kenneth Arnold, a pilot who had his own alleged UFO sighting on June 24th, 1947, near Mount Rainier, Washington. Though it happened 3 days after the Maury Island incident, it was the first widely reported sighting, and it touched off sort of the saucer sensation. And that's what was written in a 1949 government report on flying saucers. The report states that, going back to the other story, Dahl and Chrisman reached out to a Chicago magazine in an attempt to sell their story, and the magazine editor basically then contacted Arnold, hoping he could verify their account. Arnold then summoned two officers of Army A2 intelligence to aid in the investigation of Dahl and Chrisman's claim. In July of 1947, two Army A2 intelligence officers come to investigate. They leave in their B 25 the next day. The plane catches on fire and crashes, killing both officers and doing nothing to quiet these UFO conspiracies. So, the Maury Island story gained little notice in the UFO community until a 1956 book in which author Barker writes of his file on the Maury Island case that largely consisted of the writings by Ray Palmer, the Chicago Magazine editor referred to in the government's report. Barker then goes on to connect the dots between the man who wore a black suit, who allegedly took Dahl to breakfast, and three similarly dressed men who allegedly visited a young UFO enthusiast named Albert K. Bender in 1953. And then it was Bender who almost single handedly ushered in the plague of the Men in Black, just as Arnold inaugurated the era of the UFO. So, it was Barker's book that told Bender's story, thus introducing the concept of the Men in Black to a far wider audience. Um, so it has this sort of like important legacy because before the book's publication, nobody outside of like basically a very narrow group of subscribers to Flying Saucer newsletters had ever really heard of Bender, the Men in Black, these other cases. So Barker describes Bender's visitors as, quote, three men in black suits with threatening expressions on their faces, three men who walk in on you and make certain demands, three men who know that you know what the saucers really are. In Bender's other book from 1962, Flying Saucers and the Three Men, described the Men in Black in much more frightening language. He says they floated about a foot off the floor. They looked like clergymen, but wore hats similar to the Homburg style. Their faces were not clearly discernible, for the hats partly hid and shaded them. The eyes of all three figures suddenly lit up like flashlight bulbs. They seemed to burn into my very soul, as the pains above my eyes became almost unbearable. So, like, as we can see, it's becoming increasingly, like, hyperbolic in nature. So Barker would then go on to write several more books related to paranormal and UFOs, including one in the 70s called The Silver Bridge, which helped spread the story of none other than our Lord and Savior, the Mothman. I know we love it.
Wow.
We love to see it. So, how much of his writing was done in good faith has been called in question by many of the UFO research community. One member of the community who corresponded with Barker on occasion, he said, quote, Barker made it clear to me that he did not take the Men in Black or Mothman very seriously. However, he believed that there was still something mysterious about the whole UFO and paranormal thing. And so really all of this comes from one supposed account that an author decided to latch onto and then expand it into this thing and give it a platform essentially to grow. And that's kind of how we got from Harold Dahl in 1947 to like Will Smith and who's the guy that's with him? Tommy Lee Jones
Mm-hmm.
in the Men in Black. And that's kind of the Men in Black. It's not really like I don't know. There are these supposed pictures that have circulated on the internet,
Hmm.
everything else. I sit firmly in the realm of why couldn't an organization like this exist? I mean, really? Because, like, we do have, you have to admit, throughout time, there have been a lot of UFO accounts.
You know, I love the Men in Black
Dude, same.
series. And I always wondered, how could somebody come up with this?
Yeah.
And like, it had
And
to
here we
stem from
are.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And it did. It did stem from something and somewhere. And
Yeah.
I never looked into it. I never thought to because it was just like, oh, there's like no way. Well, no, there was some way. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
It is interesting. And so, like, I mean, I'm not sure if when this listener wrote in, honorary cousin Michael, if he wanted me to cover supposed tales around the Men in Black, but I decided to look at the root cause of it and how it's morphed over time.
Yeah.
Um, I think, listen, I think what's sketchy is this: 1947, this guy sees this shit. Then he supposedly has this interaction with a dude in the diner the next day,
Mhm.
the man in black. Then all of a sudden he backtracks and was like, "No, I made it all up." Like when I look at this, I'm like, okay, I keep in mind here, this was the late 40s, heading into the early 50s. Stuff like this was not widely accepted. If you started spouting off about shit like this, more times than not, you ended up in some kind of really terrible institution. I can't help but wonder if, like, no, he didn't make it up, and he retracted that to, like, protect himself. At the same time,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Honestly.
at the same time, you could be like, okay, yeah, but he was trying to make a buck off of it. And I gotta be honest, if I saw some of that shit, at some point I'd probably try to make a buck off of it too. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Or like try to at least make my story known and be like, you guys
Why
fucking
not
won't believe this
capitalize?
shit. Yeah. So like, I
Everybody
mean,
has it in them to do that. So,
totally. So like, I mean, I get it. But like I can't help but like looking at the time period, looking at the events, then I think it's really curious that 3 days later this entirely different individual, not too far from there, has kind of a similar experience.
mhm.
I don't know. Like and then you look at the government as a whole, all of the many cover-ups that we know exist throughout time. Why can't there be this weird organization that handles this shit? Like people are reporting UFOs all the time.
Yeah.
You know, some of them bullshit. Some of them I think could be real. I don't know. Like I don't know, to me it just seems plausible that yeah, the Men in Black could exist.
What else is, I mean, do they have the flashy flashes? Probably not, but they could exist.
Probably not. I don't think they have memory like wipe devices. Do I think they might kill some people? I mean,
Definitely.
like, yeah, probably. Like, look at some. God, look at the whole Boeing thing recently. Like, I mean,
Jeez.
there's some weird shit in the world, right? So, like, I don't know. Maybe.
It's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible. That's where I
Anything's
sit.
possible.
That's right. That's right. So, I think you're probably kind of on the same page as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's the Men in Black. It was a blast to research it a little bit. Hopefully, I took it in the direction you wanted, honorary cousin Michael. If not, I could do a part two and I could try and dig up just stories of the Men in Black. But that's where we are.
Wow. That was very interesting.
Thank
Good
you.
job covering that.
Thank
I
you.
like the direction that you went in,
Thank
personally.
you. Thank you, Bestie. I
I am
appreciate
a
it. It was.
little biased, but you know.
Let's hear your shenanigans. What do we have?
Okay, so the direction that I went on this was when you covered Goatman a few episodes
Yes.
back, we had gone on this tangent about I had told you about the cryptid map and how the sightings
Yes.
and how a lot of people it was West Coast, East Coast, nothing in the middle.
Yes. Did you find something in the middle?
I think I did.
I'm so excited. Okay.
And I don't know if this counts because it's in the lake, of course. But I mean, it does because cryptids can live in lakes.
Yeah, it
But it is
counts.
a cryptid monster ish thing. And it's the Lake Walgren lake monster.
Oh, okay. We love the name. Very to the point.
Um, it in Nebraska is Lake Walgren, a 50-acre lake located in Sheridan County near Hay Springs. It's a storied history of harboring Nebraskans' best known lake monster. Because nothing else is happening in Nebraska, apparently.
I
Actually,
mean,
there's a lot happening in Nebraska. Stay tuned.
oh
Um,
my God. Okay. Plot twist.
the lake monster has been variously described as a very large, either catfish or mud puppy.
Same.
Don't Google that.
Okay. I'm going to do it right now, though.
Has been variously described as a very large, and devours livestock and waterfowl. Its size vary from the size of a yearling steer to 2 feet to 12 feet long.
Wow. That's a big
It
range.
Yep. One report said it spouted water like a whale.
Same.
The first official report um, appeared in the Hay Springs News in 1921, an article in the September 16, and the headline stated, "If it isn't a whale, it's a whaler of an animal."
Oh,
And I
okay.
love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Another article on October 21st discussed the proposed um, need to catch the monster, but game officials did not think they had a large enough hold to undertake this need. My child is yelling. Um, the August in August 11th on August 11th, 1922, the issue reported the huge water animal again seeing its surface. The Omaha World Herald picked up the story up in 1923 when a man named J.A. Johnson claimed that his friends saw the water monster 40 feet long.
Oh,
And it
shit.
was dull and gray and brown in color with a horn like object between its eyes and nostrils, kind of like a narwhal.
Okay.
Narwhal? Narwhal. Narwhal.
Narwhal. Yeah.
I said that completely wrong. Which, fun fact about Kelly, guys, I didn't think narwhals were real until too late in my life.
Dude, same though, because I feel like I only really like understood that they are maybe at like 5 years ago.
Agree. Same. Okay, I'm not as
Yeah.
embarrassed. Cassie admitted it first.
Nope. It was,
I
yep.
I thought that was a mythical creature.
100% I did too. I was like, yeah, it's a unicorn manatee. Like they don't exist. And then behold, like they
Yeah,
do. Yeah. So,
yeah. I was like, it's. What do you mean underwater unicorns exist? Anyways, um, they said it looked similar to an alligator, but was bigger and heavier than an alligator. And the creature noticed the men. It emitted a dreadful roar and thrashed its tail about, and then dove underwater.
same.
Yep.
So I gotta be honest, there are some pretty varying descriptions of this thing.
Yeah. It's
Like,
it's right.
there's like pretty little consistency between these.
When I looked it up, I'm gonna be honest, it looked like a giant axolotl.
I love that though. That's not a bad. I would take that.
Yep.
They're cute.
So, following the World Herald's coverage on the story, it was picked up by several other newspapers, including the London Times.
Oh
This was
shit.
getting world recognition.
Yeah.
By far the most vivid picture of actions and features of the medieval monster. That's how it was described in the London Times.
Ah, okay.
Um, um, for 3 years, it has been a terrifying natives of the vicinity, and it was the vicinity of Alkali Lake near the small town of Hay Springs, Nebraska. And so then it started getting called the Alkali Monster.
Okay. Sure.
So it's getting changed now in a way.
We're morphing.
But how did the London Times hear about the story? The same way the newspaper did. The story was fed to them by Nebraskan John G. Mayer, whose skill at creating hoaxes was nearly as a legend as the hoaxes themselves. Historian Louise Pond writes about the schemes in December 1952. Nebraskan historian titled "The John G. Mayer Hoaxes."
Oh my god. Okay, so this guy just like thrives on doing this shit.
Yep. Um, Mayer was a successful newspaperman, businessman, politician, and veteran. Most of his successes as a newspaperman resulted from his habit of creating and maintaining sensational stories.
Now there you have it.
He created a fake petrified man out of cement using a buffalo soldier from Fort Robinson as a model and then planted it for archaeologists to find near Chardon. The man was pronounced a genuine exhibit throughout the country. Mayer also sank bags of soda in boiling springs near Chardon to produce soda springs.
Oh my god, this guy.
This guy was a con artist.
Honestly,
Like,
like it sounds like a pretty good one.
I like how they painted him as a hoaxman. No,
Yeah.
he was a con
No, it's a con
artist.
artist. He was a con artist. Let's call it what it is, but he was good at it.
But he brought light to this little town in Nebraska.
You know
So
what?
we
Good on him.
gotta give him props for that,
We
right?
got to give him props for
He
that shit.
capitalized and
We love it. We love seeing some business. I mean, it's cool.
yeah, the Walgren Lake Monster is Mayer's longest lasting hoax. Some parts of the story have faded while others have grown. Pond's article includes a 1925 telegram from the Omaha World Herald that reads, "Have a tip that Bruce Hewitt and J. Mize of Rushville solved that Hay Springs Lake mystery by finding a mermaid frozen in the ice of the lake."
Oh,
Wire 300-word story if above is correct. Also, Rush photo of mermaid.
there you have it. There it is.
Even though the mermaid idea didn't stick, the giant sea serpent flourished.
We love to see
Mayer
it.
is still finding ways to keep this story alive 3 years after the story appeared in the Hayspring News. The story got further coverage in the Mari Sandos 1935 biography of her father, Old Jules. The Alkali Lake near Hay Springs, where the early sky pilots dipped their coverts, inhabit the sea monster. With head like oil barrel and shiny black moonlight, some thought it was survival of the coal age. But Johnny Burroughs, the fundamentalists, and Flats knew better. Some devil that scattered the fossil bones over the earth, confounded those of little faith, could plant a sea monster among the sinners.
Oh,
That's what was written. And again, the picture that is planted with this article, it looks like an axolotl, in my opinion.
I really do love that version of the monster, though. That's so
An
cuddly.
axolotl.
Yeah, they're cute.
I love axolotls.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, there's been, again, many accounts of this sea monster of things. I don't even know exactly, after reading so many things, how to describe this serpent alligator axolotl unicorn.
It does kind of like I see what you're saying. Like, when you Google this though, you get probably at least 6 or 7 different renderings
Yeah.
consistently, and they're not like they're all different.
Yeah, it's wild. It is a
It is
wild
wild.
drug trip.
Holy shit, we love
Um,
it.
they it has been reported that that this thing has eaten livestock, that they have taken people, that it has spouted like a whale, that it has done many things.
It's busy.
I have to say, I don't believe in the sea monster
No, I don't believe in this
because
one.
there is so much that goes into it, but most importantly, this brilliant con man.
Yeah, we know this guy's a con man, so
And
like,
I will call this con man brilliant because
oh yeah,
give credit where credit is due.
yeah,
This guy is hustling.
he is hustling, and we'd love to see it. Um, but no, I don't believe in this. Would I
Yeah,
still go there to witness any kind of events they have around this shit? A hundred
100%.
percent, 100%, I
I
would.
I love, and I've said this before many times, when towns worship monsters.
Eh, Looking at you, Mothman. Looking at you, West Virginia.
Yep.
Looking at you,
I
Nebraska.
I
Hay Springs,
that is
Nebraska.
that is very much at the top of my list is the Mothman Festival.
God, I can't believe I didn't go to the festival when I lived there. I think I knew about it too late, and I like
Then
missed
that's
it.
fair. You
Yeah,
have, I think that needs to be a bestie trip. I'm not gonna lie.
it's only like 5, 6 hours from here. I think. Like I don't think it's crazy far. So
Road trip.
we're road tripping it.
But I enjoyed this too much not to cover.
Oh yeah, well done. This was a fun one.
And I loved that it got covered all the way to the London Times.
Yeah, it made
Little
some.
old Nebraska made it into the London Times. Thanks
That's
to
right.
this con man.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, this hoaxman.
Hoax man. That's correct. Okay, so I am. So side note, I am
Uh-huh.
correct. It's 5 hours and 41 minutes to get to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, home of the Mothman Festival.
Let's go.
So we can at least do that. Um, I I loved this little sea monster though. I
I
do
do
like
love
this
this little sea
story.
monster,
I
and
don't buy it for
I
a
think
second.
no, I don't either. But I will forever view it as an axolotl. I'm not gonna lie,
It
a
looks like it.
mutant axolotl if
It
it
looked
is
like
real.
a big ass. Yeah, right, exactly. Um, this was a fun episode.
Yes.
I enjoyed this. Um, how did you come across this?
So I was looking. I was convinced there has to be cryptids in the middle
Oh,
of the
right, right, right.
U.S.
That's right.
And
That's right.
so this is the first one that popped up for me. I did find more, so there are more to
There's
come.
more.
Yes,
Are you doing a whole segment, cryptids of the Central U.S.? I'm so excited.
I am. But I have some more things that has to do with Nebraska coming
Okay.
because I kind of fell into a fucking hole.
Okay, Nebraska's where it's at. Go figure.
I didn't expect to find what I found in Nebraska, but there's more to come.
And yet here we are. Okay, cool. Well, this was great. I loved
Yeah.
this. This was a happy, fun episode. Um, Let us know what you guys think about both of these topics. If you agree with us in yes, the men in black could exist, and no, the Hay Springs sea monster does not exist. But let us know what you think. And thank you for listening. And until next time.
Stay strange.